Much love, many blessings. Lotus here. Are you enjoying your new moon Pisces, this portal, and all of the energy that is bringing into the forefront? This is a very interesting new moon Pisces because I don't think that you could miss this energy. You can't treat this one like the elephant in the room, like, oh, that's just another new moon, or this is the new full moon. Like, you feel this one. And I mean, particularly for people who have an easy time ignoring subtle energy. This new moon Pisces is very impactful. It's very impactful, and you may have noticed that today, throat chakra may be a little bit more active. There may be more expression going on. Even though this new moon Pisces is in Sun Pisces, the residual energy from the Aquarius energy with this new moon being on the 20th, you may still feel some of that need because we're riding off of some of the last energy of standing in our truths and realigning injustices that we felt we needed to correct. So now that we know a lot of these things, there's this Pisces new moon that's been kind of like has us asking, like, okay, what is this feeling I've been feeling that has not been divulged, elephant in the room? Why am I feeling like there's something just not quite right? But when I look around, everything seems on the level. Anytime with new moons, anytime when moon enters Pisces, especially with a new moon, Pisces has this energy where clarity comes into picture because Pisces is spirituality. So spirituality is going to encompass all those things that connect to subtle energy and the work involved with that. So our intuitive nature, our subconscious, all that's going to be Pisces energy, 12th house vibes. How we we move the physical behind the scenes. That's where divinity is. So now more than ever, especially when we deal with Pisces, we also deal with the source of unconditional love. Pisces by nature is the symbol of unconditional love. They pretty much can love any and everybody, and the shared connectedness, the first and last, the koi fish, all those symbols associated with Pisces. And we may be feeling that during this time. There may also be a little bit of confusion because sometimes with Pisces, we may not know if we're the victim or the person inflicting the pain. So it can be difficult, a lot of blurred lines, again, first and last. With this clarity that's coming up with this new moon Pisces, I have to say that the biggest message is dream big. Just a week back, I was feeling something in spirit that was just suggesting, like, hey, we need to get clarity. I've been seeing other intuitive messages and other readers suggesting the same thing. So it's really showing how everybody is interconnected. And it's like, I don't know what's coming up, but something was coming up and it was like, I was going to make sense. So it was kind of like, okay, you need to be clear. Maybe you don't need to be doing all the altered state things. You need to be tapping into things that keep your clarity in alignment. If at all, meditate. So this seems to be what the big deal was. And like, when I think to myself, I'm kind of like, okay, like even with this new moon, like Pisces energy is already very sensitive. So a lot of times when the moons come around in water signs, I tend to notice a lot more than what I already normally notice on a regular basis. But this new moon Pisces just kind of really put things in perspectives with a lot of connections, a lot of things that were needed to know what was causing the limitations, what's causing the roadblocks, what's causing the stagnation, why am I not actually getting what it is that I desire and achieve? Why do I not feel fulfilled from my position? What is your position from where you are? Why do you feel fulfilled in your position, or are you in a position that you are constantly comparing to something else? Dream big. Since this year, there's been a weight, a mental weight, a disconnect. And this weight has been because there's been a lot of heavy mental energy since this year started and kicked off. And what is everyone doing? What are you doing? Why are we not going towards what it is that we want? Why do we not feel that we deserve it? Why does it feel like there's this lack mindset? Why does it feel like I'm subjecting myself to highly poor treatment? I was thinking about today and how like the throat chakra feels extremely active. And I don't mean just with these messages that are coming out, the whole Saraswati vibes. I was thinking about, particularly, I usually tend to let a lot of things slide, but today I didn't. I was at a diner with my friend and it was just, I'll tell you the truth. I get really actually tired of gaslighting. Like everybody seems to in this age gaslight. Nobody takes ownership for the things that they do. And if there's no physical evidence, people just act none the wiser. And that's one of the con sides to feminine energy or dark energy, is that when it's called out, you can literally just change it and act as if. So normally, like, especially when it comes to food service, that's the one area where when I have an issue with somebody, I tend to let it slide, because it's like, even if I address it, you still feel away, and that energy is going to go into my food. It's going to go into how you cook, and cooking has a lot to do. How you prepare food and how it tastes isn't just recipes, at least for me. Energy goes into how you cook, and if you're not fucking with me, then a lot of times you're going to project that into my food. My food's not going to taste as good, even if you use good quality ingredients. So a lot of times when I'm dealing with, there's like this weird come to like a standoff or a standstill, where we can't really like go anywhere, because I feel like there's a balance between how much I can check you and how much you're going to project that into be petty and project that into my food. But it was just like, overall, it didn't fucking matter. Like today, I don't know what was different. Like, it's like I did not care. I didn't care about any of that. It felt like I was wronged. I wasn't getting what I deserved. My friend wasn't getting what I deserved, and it needed to be addressed. And it wasn't until it was addressed directly that I felt in alignment. The weight came off my back. When you're carrying an energy projection from other people that's not for you, then that weight comes onto you, because you subconsciously tell yourself that you accept that. What are you telling your spirit? What are you telling your inner child when you receive energies that you don't want, that aren't actually deserving of you, but you accept them because you don't put up a fight, or you just don't put up the barrier to shield that out? Your inner child, your spirit, they're looking at you like, damn, like, I guess he's like, if you like it, I love it type of energy. And it's like, yeah, I want to step in, but you have those friends where you can't fight more on their behalf than they fight for themselves. Yes, you can show up for them, but you can't fight more than they're willing to show up. And it's the same for you. Your inner child knows your creativity. Your inner child knows the things that you want to do and is willing to work with you, even though it has a different way of communicating. But your spirit, and your spirit on the other hand, also knows what's best for you as well. But they're not going to step in and do the work for you unless it's at risk or danger to your well-being. But even then, they're still sitting back. So the issue is, what's going on a subconscious level is when you accept mistreatment, when you accept being a sneaky link, when you accept being second, when you accept lower pay, when you accept what you're given rather than what you deserve, you accept false modesty, playing in the ego. False modesty is in the ego. Then you tell your spirit, your subconscious, you tell your inner child, you tell your subconscious programming that you deserve this. And if you deserve this, how can you ever tap into your fantasies, and when the fantasies come into your awareness, not think of them more than something that's just wishful thinking? You can't even address dishonors projected at your being. You can't even address mistreatment, both physical and dishonors projected at your being that reflect on your image and tarnish you or whatever. You can't even address those things. So if you can't address that, then how can you tell your spirit, how can you show yourself that you are deserving of better things? And this is why you have to stand in energy. You have to constantly push out energy that is not yours. You have to constantly push out energy that is less than the vibration that should be being received by you. So at the time, it's like, yeah, getting back to that, it's like something was just different this time. And I'm just gonna blame it on the residual riding Aquarius energy of fuck that shit if I feel wronged. And I just decided that it needed to be addressed. She needed to be addressed. The waitress, the cooks, everybody in there needed to be addressed about the treatment, because they all were in on it. You allowed this to happen. And when I did that, I felt so much better. And then I realized, like, wow, like my whole energetic body felt completely in line. And here's the crazy shit. I had an issue with a previous transaction that I had missed work on, work that I had worked or accumulated just to put the time in. I suffered from some fraudulent bullshit. Like, they got access to my account and just took the money. And when I put it in dispute, it was just all of this fucking blockages and just resistance. And this was like months ago, and I didn't want to let it go, but it's like always had taken the time out of your day to who has time to always be on customer support's ass and also handling your shit and living a life? Sometimes it's just like, if they don't handle it, it's like you're kind of stuck holding the bag. So I felt lighter, and something within my awareness told me to check back on that dispute. And when I called with a much different energy. I can't even really explain it, but my energy felt like I didn't have to worry, because I could just by calling, that I was going to resolve it. I was going to receive a solution when I called. And not only did I get the money back from the situation that was taken, I got back other money that I wasn't even aware of. And it was just like the mirroring of addressing that and not taking in that energetic energy, and then that mirroring in my physical reality of also being lighter and receiving a reward, aware, noticing and seeing the truth, is like full clarity, you know? And during this time, I really feel like a lot of us in the collective are having that same clarity. I hope that if anything, that we're not turning our heads away from the situation. So I really want to tap into what's in store for us, because we really just entered the Pisces season, and this energy from this portal is really huge. Honestly, even if you weren't necessarily having the most mindfulness about the points leading up to this new moon, a lot of the energy from this had a lot to do with things that you've been wanting and thinking that necessarily weren't available to you, or you've been doing the work for a long time and you hadn't necessarily seen a shift or a change in the effort put in versus what you're getting out of it. And a lot of you are finally either connecting the dots, or a big break has come in the form of a message or news about a shift that's going to take you, elevate you out of your current circumstances and give you the tools. I feel a lot of tools coming. I feel a lot of missing tools, like you've been working without like a third, like you've been working with 3 wheels, or you've been trying to actually just upgrade the technology that you have. So, and speaking of technology, with Aquarius entering Pluto entering Aquarius soon, it isn't surprising that we're going to see major shifts and transformations in technological advancements. But also because Pluto deals with our unknown and the fear, you may be seeing a lot of fear surrounding technology and AI and revolts and things of that nature. But I say that to say that you're going to see, we're experiencing during this time with this new moon Pisces, because this residual energy is actually starting to snowball into that. With this new moon Pisces, there's this need within our awareness to upgrade our technology. Like, we've been looking for the tools, the missing tools. A lot of the Aquarius season, we were looking for those missing pieces, when and how, for it to connect the dots so that we could bring the underdog up. So now we feel like we have a lot of the clarity on all the things that we need to finally make that pivot, that real pivot. We're not the underdog anymore. Like, it's time for like a real pivot. I want to pull from the Sacred Care message, because it's good to feel that divine feminine. It's good to feel like, okay, I feel this within my awareness, but now what can I do actively within my physical reality to shift these subtle energies? Sometimes when we're doing this spiritual walk, this religious walk, or just walking within our life path, when we feel these subtle energies and we're not feeling something tangible, we don't always know how to influence it, and how what we're influencing on the subtle energy in is being mirrored within our physical reality. So this Pisces new moon is a great time to be tapping into your faith and the things that you sometimes don't get the evidence that you need, other than trust in the feelings and connecting with yourself, to actually tap into. Now is a great time to tap back into yourself if you have not been spending time with yourself. If you tap into the wisdom of the Pisces new moon, you've been feeling the shifts to feeling the changes. What is it that you deserve during this time? What is it that you feel full circle that is now coming into your awareness without a shadow of a doubt? What was that missing thing that you needed to know that has kept you held back? And now it's time for a new beginning. The first and the last is always the truest wisdom that goes with the way. Pisces is the last, but it's also the first. What is it that makes so much more sense now? What is it that you were needed? What is it that your heart, as it connects with the moon, that you're feeling during this time? What is it trying to communicate if your heart could have words? I know you feel your heart activate. I know you feel that vibration. It's basically expanding. It's not beating. It's just this set expansion. You feel that's called impact. The deeper aspect of the heart chakra is impact, because the heart chakra is the element of wind. So wind is movement. A lot of us aren't moving because we're not in our hearts. A lot of us are numb in our hearts. A lot of us are emotionless. Pisces is coming back during this time to remind you to activate. Pisces is a water sign. Emotions resides in the sacral chakra. Emotions, we have to tap back in. We've either corrupted our emotions, or we've told ourselves that when we have emotions, we take them in the wrong direction. And then when they get to the heart, we're steered off, and then we end up getting hurt because we're not taking that time to really discern what these emotions are trying to communicate. We're not listening to our bodies. We feel emotions, and then we just tell ourselves, oh shit, nope, that's that bullshit that got me fucked up. But your emotions are trying to communicate with you. What are your emotions trying to say? If you don't listen to your emotions in your body, then you don't know what your body's trying to tell you. You just are traumatized by emotions, period, and aren't realizing that emotions are trying to communicate. That's like being afraid of language because you heard a lot of bad words. Just stop listening to the bad words. Don't stop speaking. Don't stop having emotions. Don't stop having a heart. Pisces is so expansive that the waters have knowledge and boundaries into areas. On the metaphysical waters, the psychic waters of Pisces are so vast that there's a range of emotions that some of you have never even tapped into or given enough acknowledgement to, that you even knew that that was a degree or a sensitivity. Some of you are so numb that you only make things black or white. Like, how do you feel? Just angry. Okay, are you angry? Are you mad? Are you irritated? It's like there's ranges. There's energetic ranges. You're not exploring the depth of your ranges, so you're just staying at the elementary level. You only have a few choices. And sometimes simplicity is great, but there's an advantage that comes with complexity. It's options. Sometimes the simple options don't do the same things that the advanced options do. That's why you deal with those things sometimes, but we're so emotionally infantile that we're not necessarily able to tap into the bigger dreams because we're so page of cups about anything that comes our way, that the slightest shift or water or movement that changes our reality, we start to complain and get knocked over. But reality is shifted by behind the scenes by the spiritual. And the very thing that you're afraid of is the very thing that you need to make rapid shifts. You have to tap in. Surrender to the divine. This Pisces moon is asking you to surrender. If this is not a confirmation, you cannot force this change. The things that you're asking for are already set in place, and you have to allow the change. You have to at least allow the change for the things that you're asking for to happen, to actually happen. I think one of the hardest things for us as a collective, and I'm guilty of this too, is that because I'm so hypersensitive to changes, when I see my reality changing, when I see my finances changing, when I see my relationships changing, when I see my job changing, when I see my health changing, I'm like, whoa, what the fuck is that? And ironically, questioning is actually one of the things that tends to hinder or slow down rapid manifestation. So sometimes the fear of wanting to know what we know, while things, when we ask, what is that, is changing, we're not allowing the power of the unknown to create the shifts. So we're still tapping into the placebo effect and making everything concrete. We have to surrender to the divine to allow adaptability and change. Pisces is the sign of mutable water. That's about the most non-concrete, changing, malleable, adapting thing that you can think of in the zodiac, in pretty much existence. So that means that you are supposed to be fluid as possible. Don't expect anything. That's not what it is. It's don't hold an outcome to the expectation of don't hold an expectation to the end result, so that you can receive what's entirely best for you and not limit yourself. There are connections and things opening up for you during this time that are setting the stage for what it is that you always wanted. Now is that time. This is your time. How can we tap into that? We're surrendering to the divine. We're allowing the energy to come into us. We're taking that divine breath, that deep breath that keeps us, that brings us into this present moment, brings us into the present moment. What are we doing now? Now that we've claimed our power, we want to be present. We want to have the communication with what it is that is right for us, that resonates for us in our position. What is your position? You want what's best for your position, not my position. This may resonate with you, but you want it to resonate with you. You want it to be adding abundance to your pocket. You want it to be building on your connection, your relationships. If you're feeling this, then you need to tap in. Alone time. It's time for you to figure out what it is that you want. It's funny because Pisces tends to integrate. This means that this is an awareness check to evaluate the energetic fields that you are around and the environments that you are around. You are oversaturated with too many varying degrees of interest and urges and impulses coming from other external projections and energy fields that you have not desaturated yourself from. You need some quiet so that you can maybe even hear that silent frequency and time with yourself so that you could actually discern what's coming out of your energetic field. When you're overlapping with other people, you're picking up on a shared energy and your thoughts and energies become influential with each other. So you don't necessarily know what's yours and what's theirs. So this is a confirmation during this Pisces new moon. Like I said, to dream big. You want to dream big, that means you got to spend some time with yourself to know what your desires are. You don't know what your desires are because you are basing your desires off of what is acceptable and okay with what your current circumstances and environment and the people that you currently share with are. But what you want don't have nothing to do with anyone else around you. You came into this world by yourself, and you will go, the journey for yourself is by yourself. You have to go through this journey on your own. So that means the things that you manifest and what's going on during this time to manifest bigger is what personally, outside of anyone else, benefits you and your growth and your path and your ascension. And because of the lingering energies, the residual energies of this Aquarius, it's time to upgrade. It's time to upgrade our tools, our technology. It's time to upgrade our energetic fields. It's time to upgrade our vibration. Are you feeling this? Are you resonating with me? I hope that this is rhetoric and it is clear and concise for you and it resonates in a way that makes sense and that you can take and activate on. That you're able to walk in your power. That you're able to ask for the things that you want and know that you deserve them and build upon them. Enjoy this new moon, Pisces. Walk in your power, walk in your energy. Speaking of technology, I was actually trying to do it live, but when everything started messing up, I was like, yep, we're just gonna chop this up into segments. So depending on how this uploads, I really want to get this message out. So you'll see at the end, either it's gonna be like one big video or I'm actually gonna chop it up and give you this in segments. But I hope that you have a blessed day, a wonderful day, that your divine feminine and masculine are in harmony for yourself, and that the things that you're feeling, that you're taking that time, you're not moving at somebody else's pace, you're moving at your own pace. You're taking that moment to surrender so that you can simply just receive what's best for you, receive and take in what your body is saying to you. Spend some time with yourself and take in the things that give you peace. There's been a lot of going on, so find the things that give you peace and solidarity. Let that resonate with you. Again, this is Lotus. Tune in for the next videos, and as we move into the next full moon coming up, let's see how the intentions that we've set ourselves up for sets ourselves up for the cycle for this full moon. Much love, many blessings, and Ashe.